Hello and welcome to Missed Mando, a disc golf podcast covering the disc golf world. On today's episode, it's all about the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship, and we have 5. You heard that right, 5 awesome interviews with some Canadian ladies that went down for that event. But first, let's say hey to my awesome co-hosts. We've got Sean Galbraith and Galen Naidu-Harris. Maybe we don't have Galen.
I'm not seeing Galen. I guess he's not going to join us for this one. How's it going, Robbie?
Oh, pretty good, my friend. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm really excited for this episode.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, we are unfortunately missing our third trusty co-host, Galen. He's going to be out of the podcast for a little bit, but doing some awesome things in his personal life. So we are super excited for him, but we will absolutely miss him on the podcast. But I don't think we need to spend any more time talking about Galen, do we?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So like I said, this episode is all about the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship. That was the first major of the season to go down in Austin, Texas. And it's every year a big celebration of women's disc golf. With this year, there were 346 competitors competing across 21 divisions, all the way from FP 75 all the way down to FJ 10. Super awesome to see all those divisions.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. But over on the FPO side, Missy Gannon goes wire to wire to take down her first career major victory. I actually had to do like a little checkup to make sure that stat was right because it didn't sound right in my head. But Missy Gannon, hadn't won a major before, but picks up her first. She averages 1,004 rated over the 4 rounds at Sprinkle Valley down in Austin, Texas. Evelina Saladin continues her strong start to the season, finishing in second place, and Valerie Mondahano rounds out the podium in third. Missy led the field in scramble percentage and strokes gained in C1X putting, but was top 5 in pretty much all of the other main statistical categories. Second place finisher Evelina, she led the field in strokes gained tee to green with 32.09 strokes gained. Just crazy. But only had 0.76 strokes gained putting compared to Missy's 8.63 in that category, proving more and more that if Evelina can just keep her putting improving, that she has the potential to be the best in the sport for sure. Sean, send it over to you, buddy. What are let's hear some of your thoughts on this awesome event that we had.
So I loved the Sprinkle Valley course. This was made specifically for the FPO division. It wasn't just some retrofitted MPO course where they stuck some extra tee pads in or maybe moved a basket. It was specifically designed to challenge the FPO division. This was a difficult course, and it absolutely challenged the field. I think at most only like 10 women scored under par on any given round, and usually it was like half of that. No one was putting up big under par numbers, and with so much score separation possible, in the final round, only 2 holes averaged below par. That is absolutely wild. It was a beast of a course, and it was fantastic to watch on coverage. And we're gonna get some thoughts from some Canadian players as to see what they thought of playing the course. Next, the final 2 holes, 17 and 18, were 2 of my favorites on the tour so far. The hole 17 island provided some just amazing drama. It was a real challenge, especially on the final day when the wind picked up. The green had these boards on either side of the green, and those were a pretty cool addition. They could either help keep your disc in if it was looking like it was going to skip off the side, or it could block a skip in from the OB. They're going to either save you or they're going to hurt you. In round 4, 68% of the field took a bogey or worse, and only 1 player got a throw in from the drop zone. Lisa Fakis actually almost aced it on the final round, providing some amazing drama. And then once they were done that, they had to pop over to hole 18 and it played as the hardest hole of the entire event. On round 4, it averaged 1.61 strokes above par, and it's a par 5. It had OB all over the place. The first shot was to a large island. The second shot you had to throw over these like wood block barriers. And then you're into a tunnel that had more OB on both sides. You had a blind approach over a hill to try and get to the basket, which was on its own OB surrounded kind of island. It was amazing, and it provided a ton of score separation, and it had major risk reward calculation built in. Missy Gannon, she only led the tournament in 3 stats. She led it in scrambles, she led it in shots gained tee to green, as you mentioned, and shots gained C1X. But she was top 4 in fairway, C1 in reg, C2 in reg, C1X putting, and shots gained putting. You mentioned her huge shots gained putting of 8.63. That's wild. Missy truly had a complete game, and it showed. Second place, Evelina, she was number 1 in C1 in reg, but like not a lot else. Like she was getting major strokes tee to green, but her C1X putting, unfortunately, continues to lag. Missy was clocking in at around 88% C1X putting. Evelina was at 70%, nearly a 20% difference. And over 2 rounds, like that's a huge difference. And, you know, that was enough to lose the tournament. And for Missy to get her first major, it was absolutely amazing. As for Canadians, a lot of Canadians came down this time for USWDGC. It was amazing to see. In the FPO division, Canada's Chantel Budinsky had a fantastic tournament. Really swung things around from the first 2 events on the Texas Swing. She finished tied for 11th. Victoria's Gabby Lee came in tied at 65th, and Toronto's Kat Johnson came in at 83rd in the FPO division. Over in FP 55, St. Catharines' Audrey Lopez came in 9th. Rebecca Dawn, she is a real rising star in disc golf. She took first in FJ 18, took home the gold. It was great to see. And then my wonderful wife, Gabby Vivar, she came in 14th in FA 50. And all of the Canadians had a fantastic time down in Austin. And we've got some interviews with 5 of them right after this. We're really, really happy to bring interviews with these players to get you firsthand perspective on what it was like to play down in Austin. And we're going to go to those interviews right now.
All right. It's a pleasure to welcome in our next guest. She's the highest rated Canadian woman and reigning Ontario champion. She's also the winner of the 2023 American Flying Disc Open on the Pro Tour last year. And she's coming off her highest career finish at a major, finishing 11th down in Texas at the USWDGC. It's a pleasure to welcome to the Miss Mando podcast, the pride of Windsor, Ontario, Chantel Budinsky. Thanks for joining the podcast. And how are you doing, Chantel?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
The list of accolades in the intro just keeps growing and growing.
Good. Hopefully it keeps growing.
And it will. It absolutely will.
Yeah, so you're playing tomorrow, the Texas State's Disc Golf Championship. We were just talking before about your tee time in the morning. How's the game feeling going into the tournament? How have the practice rounds been going? How are you feeling?
They've been going really well. I just finished up like less than an hour ago, my last practice round, and it went super well. So hopefully I can shoot as good as I did my practice rounds on the actual rounds.
How are you liking the course?
It's such a big change from Sprinkle Valley. It's a lot of it's wide open, and there's just so much airspace. It almost feels harder that way.
So is it going to be a little bit more like big bomber golf shots instead of a little more hit the landing zone, hit the landing zone?
There's definitely still landing zones, but I think the bombers, they're going to have a lot of fun with this. It's going to make it a little bit easier for them. I mean, we're supposed to get some wins this week, so that'll make it a little bit more difficult because there is a lot of OB, but I think the bombers will enjoy this course.
Cool.
So this will be your fourth tournament now in Texas to start the year. How have you been enjoying the start down in Texas? How have the courses been? Like, of all the tournaments, is there like a favorite for you other than Flying Armadillo, of course, because that looked like a blast.
That was so much fun. I would love to go back there. But I really did enjoy Sprinkle Valley. I didn't think that I was going to score well there, but just when you make a solid game plan, it just seems so much easier, and you get those looks at birdies that you didn't think you could, and then it just feels good. And I think when you execute and you play a really hard course well, that makes you like the course extra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
So Waco was a little rocky, and Austin, a nice improvement up to 29th and now finished 11th. Do you think, the early season rust is now shaken off, and now you're sort of in full swing, and you're getting game plans and you're executing them?
Yeah, so definitely shook off rust at the beginning of the year. But I'm slowly getting back to feeling normal on the course, not so nervous. I'm in between working on my form a little bit, so it's kind of hard to forget about that when you're playing the tournament. But I'm hoping just to be able to do what I'm trying to do and not think about form once I'm on the tee pad. But
what are you working on?
I just some timing issues. I find that I don't I hole before I fully plant, so my reach back comes in early. So that's always been a really big issue for me. So it's just that.
That's a really pulling early and getting that timing. That's a really really common thing. I know it very well.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It can be, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Paige mentioned that's timing after coming back from her injury, getting that sense of timing and rhythm back has been something that's been a challenge and something that she's really working on too.
Yeah, it's been a struggle too because I didn't have much time to practice, so I felt like I lost a lot of distance on the off season. And now that I'm starting to get that distance back, my discs will do different things sometimes. So if I actually get full power on it, now it's kind of flipping a little more than it has been. So that's kind of something that I've been trying to learn on my practice rounds as well. It's just what exactly are my discs going to do now?
I like in your videos that you are noting which discs that you're using. Like I love throwing the D4 and to some extent the D3. Mostly like I've got a really beat in D4 Air that like is so flippy because I'm a total noodle arm, and it's just nice to see somebody else who knows what they're doing throw a disc that's that understable and throwing it so well. I love seeing it.
Wow, an Air D4.
It's like 155. It's got like chunks missing out of it. It's so flippy. It's maybe a bit too flippy now.
Roller disc.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It could be the most unstable thing in the world. Sean still can't roll it.
100%.
Yeah.
Good. It'll just flip back in time and land on its face.
So I mentioned in your intro that you're coming off of your highest finish at a major 11th at USWDGC. This was also your highest payout to date. How's that feel?
It was nice because usually we don't think too much about the money. It's more about the experience and getting experience, but it's so helpful because now I feel like, oh, good, it paid for some of the trip. We're not totally in the hole.
Mm-hmm. And so this is your first year really sort of committing to the tour. I know you played a handful of Pro Tour events last year, but they were a little more sort of one or two or out and back from Windsor. is this sort of largely due to you wanting to like transition to this be more of the career as opposed to maybe the side hustle career? Are you just like, are you building momentum off your AFDO win? Has Prodigy stepped up to help you with the expanded career, given that you're their top FPO player?
Yeah, so they definitely did. They stepped up, and I feel like I can definitely get to more events this year. And I just feel like with how well my season went by the end of the year last year, I just feel like I should be trying it out more, going to more events. And instead of, doing 3 events here and then having 2 months off and going back to another event, I feel like if I'm doing it almost every weekend, I will be better because I won't be as nervous. They won't mean as much to me because I have like 5 more in a week in a row. So I feel like I just really wanted to give it a try and see how it went.
And it's been going well.
Yes, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of Prodigy, they recently dropped their 2024 signature discs, which includes your signature series F3. What went into the decision of choosing the F3 as the mold, and did you have any hand in designing the stamp as well?
Yeah, so it was they gave you kind of a list of what you wanted, and I picked the F3 and the M4. Those were two of my choices, but we went with the F3, and I forget why, but it's like flying machines. That's what the F for the fairway, it was flying machines. So I got to pick from like a couple different options, and I just love the hot air balloon option.
Looks so good.
Thank you. I think it looks awesome. And so they kind of said, like, what would you want with the hot air balloons? So I said I just want a couple air balloons floating with like the sunset, and then I added Cora in the top corner, and then they just designed it, and I was like, that's perfect. I didn't even really have to say anything about it. They're doing a really good job.
You had a fair bit of input into the design. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you have input into this disc over here, which you may recognize?
I didn't have input. I could have, but they're like, let me just get some options out there. Sure. I saw that one. I was like, that's amazing. It's like, so I didn't even, and since we were busy, we were playing Worlds. Like, they got that out in a day and sent it over to me. Yeah, it was quick. And I was like, I love it. So
that's fantastic.
Easy. Yeah.
That's pretty great. So you're on tour. How has it been sort of learning how to be on tour? Are you and Chris doing, like, it looks like you're probably in a hotel. Are you doing sort of the drive and hotel thing? Are you doing the van life or Airbnb? What's your tour looking like?
Yeah, so we're driving everywhere. I don't really want to fly because it gets way too expensive that way. Yeah, and then renting a car, it's just too much. So anywhere we can drive, hopefully that's where we'll be touring. And I'm just trying to find Airbnbs or hotels. And I'm like a deal finder. So I like to really search and find the best deal. So that's what we've been doing.
Are you like getting together with any of the other pros to sort of split Airbnbs at this point?
Yep. So Kat from Toronto, she came down for US Women's, and we got an Airbnb, and that was really nice because it kind of, instead of just coming back and Chris works all day, so I'm like bored. Instead, I get to hang out with Kat the whole time. So that was nice. And then also Kona reached out to me, and she's like, if you ever need like a person to split an Airbnb, like, we're here. So that was really nice. I already had all my Airbnb planned out because I like to plan like months in advance. But I was like, oh, that's so perfect.
Do you have them already planned out for, like, you're doing what, Jonesboro, you're doing Music City Open?
Yeah, so I actually dropped Jonesboro. We're going to be coming back to Canada. My mother just got a puppy, and we just want to, and she lives with us. So we're just going to go and help with our small dogs, get the puppy, like, used to the house and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then we're going to be going up to Music City Open and Champions Cup. I've been looking around, haven't found anything yet, but I'm sure I'll find a good deal somewhere.
Maybe it's time for the Kona call.
Yeah.
So we're still pretty early into the season, coming up on your fifth event. On the course, off the course, have there been any surprises to jumping full into the tour for you, for Chris, for anything surprising to you making the jump this year?
Not really. It kind of feels like we just jumped right back into it, and like we didn't have 6 months off. I think that's how much we had, which is half a year. That just seems so long, but it feels like we're just right back at it. Everything's normal again and just on the road. And I mean, we're tired. We can definitely feel that. We can feel the tiredness, but it's been pretty easy so far.
I guess one of the nice things about having a big Texas swing is that it's a lot of events in a fairly small driving distance.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, the 20-hour drive sucked.
Yeah.
But now that we're here, it's been nice.
Couple hours here, a couple hours there, whatever.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're now a touring pro. That must feel kind of cool.
Yeah.
And a bit surreal a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, I wouldn't say that I am, but I am.
You are.
It's weird. Yeah, I am.
Claim it. So, but you have sort of the demands, I guess, of also, the YouTube content creation. How do you find it is to balance between, things like getting in practice rounds, just sort of day-to-day life, but then also the demands of filming for your YouTube channel? Like, do you basically just like film everything and then Chris cuts it later? Or do you like, today is a content day and tomorrow there's no cameras, I'm just playing and practicing and making notes and whatever?
Yeah, we've kind of been leaning more towards planning a content day, and then the rest of the days are practice, because I find that when I'm trying to film my practice rounds and like the whole week, that it's hard. It is really hard. I feel like I'm not as focused. I'm worried about backing people up and just people being around while I'm filming, because I'm still kind of shy. So it's been hard, but I feel like having that one day of, okay, we're going to film. Like today we went and filmed the Lucy Buys Lunch. And it just makes me feel better, because it's like, okay, I got my video filmed. Now I can focus on the tournament. So it's been hard kind of balancing that, but I think we're figuring it out.
And obviously with the YouTube, you're comfortable in front of the camera that way. But maybe my favorite moment of the year so far came from you at the Waco press conference, when you let out a huge sigh of relief.
I knew this was coming.
After the interview ended, before the cameras had fully cut. First of all, what were your thoughts when you saw that afterwards and you saw people posting about it? What were your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed, because Nate said that I was good and we were done. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. It's funny. I'm like, obviously it was a little embarrassing, but I'm like, oh, whatever. That's what I was feeling. I was like, it was nerve-wracking. My first press conference, but it's all right.
That was your first
one.
one?
That's one of the...
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that's one of the reasons that I loved it so much, was I could imagine myself in that exact situation of, if I was in my first press conference, I can't imagine the way I'd be feeling. So to see that pure raw feeling come out was incredibly relatable, and it'll stick with me forever.
It was.
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely. It was so human and, like Robbie said, relatable. Like it was like, because you're almost like performing, right? The camera's on, you've got to be a little stiff, like upper, your back's nice and straight. Yeah. And you got to be like, I'm on now. It's time to do the interview. Then it's like, you just exhale and just relax.
Yeah.
Was it, your interview, you really did great in the interview. There wasn't any sign of you being nervous or anything like that. Like you did great. I think you're a natural at it, even if maybe
Oh,
doesn't feel like it sometimes.
thank you. Thank you. I feel like I'm getting better at hiding my nervousness.
I think all the pros, it's a skill that they have to learn on tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was the rest of that overall Waco experience for you? You know, being the I would say the premier FPO player on Prodigy, being a Prodigy tournament, and being on the feature card there. I mean, obviously you would have liked to have performed better, but overall, just what was that whole experience being in the spotlight so much at that tournament?
It was a lot. I was really thinking about it a lot leading up to the tournament as well. Just knowing that I was going to be on that lead card, and I guessed exactly the people who were on the lead card too. So I was kind of like, I was preparing for that. Which honestly, it's not hard to perform with like the higher FPO people. I feel like I've played with mostly everyone now. It's mostly like, okay, now you're on camera, you're being filmed by Disc Golf Network, you're going to be on Jomez, there's going to be people there. It's your first tournament of the year, and you haven't practiced much. So I was like freaking out. And I was putting like nonstop for the 3 weeks before. And I was like, I just hope that I can putt well. That's all I really can ask for. But I feel like it was the first round. It was good. I was so nervous, but I almost was just so distracted by everything that I almost could focus more. It was so weird. And then the rest of the tournament was terrible. But at least the first round, it was okay.
Do you find, you're obviously on camera a lot because of your YouTube channel. Do you find you're getting more comfortable with the DGN cameras, or does it feel like it's just a different thing?
Yeah, it's a different thing because it's not Chris behind the camera, and it's not like I can be like, "Hey, delete that." Like, we're not putting that out. So it definitely was different.
Next time you're on DGN, you have to turn to them at one point and say, "Okay, delete that."
Okay.
Take two. Can we take two?
Can I get a
All right.
second putt here? Come on.
Yeah. Just for fun. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would totally go viral. It'd be amazing. I love it. You should totally do that.
Okay,
The
I'll
booth,
remember that.
the booth would love it. So you mentioned that. So you're skipping Jonesboro. You're going to come back. You're going to do MCO and Champions Cup, and then it looks like you're taking a little bit of a U.S. break after that. Is it mostly just to sort of come home and get a little bit of a break, or is it because you can't be in the States for the visa thing for too long? You have to sort of manage how many months you're in Canada and the U.S.?
Yeah, so that's kind of part of it, but I think that's when they head out west, right? So it's like the California.
That's the Western swing.
Yeah, I think that's the time it is. So we're not going to do those. It's too far. I'm not driving that far. But yeah, so it kind of just worked out. We get a couple weeks off. We get to prepare for Foxwood, which is a big one for me here in Canada because I want that throw pink ticket. So it just worked out really well. I feel like the swing, the way they planned the Disc Golf Pro Tour this year works really well for Chris and I.
Which tournaments in Canada are you? I mean, obviously Foxwood for sure because of Throw Pink. Which ones are you looking forward to the most? I assume you'll be playing Diameter Open as well.
Yeah, yep, I'll be there. I'll be on quite a bit this year if everything goes to plan. But I'm always looking forward to Foxwood. I just hope that we don't have gale force winds.
That was last year. It was not fun. It was not fun.
No year's really fun there.
The wind and the rain in last year was just unpleasant.
Yeah, I feel like we always just have such terrible weather, but I guess that's what makes it Foxwood.
Come on, Kitchener, get your head together.
I know. Let's hope this year's good.
So we mentioned it, or I mentioned it earlier, that you just posted a video recently out at the Flying Armadillo disc golf course. Talk about how fun that course is, because it looked unbelievably.
The video was
unbelievably fun in the video, and I I could not stop feeling bad for all of the spit outs that Chris was getting. Once he finally hit that, and once he finally got one to stick, I think I actually let out an audible cheer for him. But it obviously you had a great group with Kat as well there. And yeah, just how fun was that round in that course?
What a course!
It's so awesome to see just different types of courses here in the States, because in Canada, we don't have like a ton of variety. No. It's starting to get better, but we have nothing like that. And the amount of work that they put into it, like, where did they find that stuff? He builds it all. He builds everything. It's crazy. And even though it's like short putt, it's hard because you want to ace. But it was just so much fun. I wish we had something close to us like that, because I'd be playing it every day.
It's really the closest.
Do you have any
like disc golf mini putt?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you have any particular favorite hole on that course? One that, I mean, obviously everyone knows the one that you're throwing into like the silo with the hole. That seems to be the one that everyone posts to Instagram. But yeah, that would be your favorite.
Yeah, that one is probably one of the good ones. I like the one with like a bunch. I don't know how to explain it, but it has like a bunch of the like bars, and you can do a roller and it goes in. That was a lot of fun too. I think those are the two best ones. And also when you're standing on
way up top,
huge. Yeah, that was awesome.
So it's so cool. And it was a great video. It's super entertaining. Kudos to Chris on a great edit job on that one. I really like that. I really like his work. He's doing a great job for the channel.
Yeah, awesome.
It's nice. It's nice that you let him get a couple aces too.
Yeah, I mean, we edited them; they're not real.
Really good green screen and CGI. I couldn't even tell. You know, it was super, super amazing. So
at one point you let out a Chris is rock hard right now, and I think I actually snorted. I think I snort laughed for like the first time in my life.
I can't believe he lets that in. Yeah. Oh man, we have to edit a lot of things out, buddy. I get to like that one.
So funny, so funny. Is he going to be caddying for you for most of these events, or does the day job sort of he has to take Fridays off and actually do work?
He can take the time off, like the exact hours that I'm there, and then he'll work before or after. So his work's really supportive, and he can be there every round, I think, as long as he has enough time off throughout the year. But so far, so good. I kind of need him there. Who else to carry my bag?
Listen, you could totally get almost anybody in the crowd. My wife caddied for Jessica Weiss at All Stars. Like hole 3, she's just like, "You want me to caddy for you?" She's like, "Take my bag." She's like,
"Yeah,
this is actually very heavy. Oh no, I made a mistake." But yeah, you just turned to, "Anybody want to caddy for me?"
It's true. It's true.
You see, Chris's work has been nice and flexible. How's your work been? Fairly similar.
Well, yeah, I'm technically like an independent contractor, so I can accept work, I can decline it. So when I'm gone, I'm just like, I'm gone. Find someone else to do it. It's been great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll not going to take too much more of your time. You've got a tea time tomorrow. You gotta get another nice big finish. What are your what are your goals for this year? I mean, other than winning worlds.
Yeah, that one.
You're totally doing it. I've got all of my money on I'm betting all of it. No pressure.
Okay. I don't know if it's a good bet, but I feel like I don't like to put too much expectations on myself, because I feel like I don't do well when I do that. When I first started disc golf, that's what I was all about. I was like a lot of expectation, and I just don't perform well under those conditions. So I feel like I set a really easy goal of just moving up on my rating every update, and so far so good. So I just want to finish. It'd be nice to be around 950 by the end of the year, but if not, as long as I just keep going up slowly, I'm good.
I mean, shooting the hot round on round 3 was it round 4 at USWDGC?
Yeah.
That definitely is going to help.
It helped. And you know what? I'm still so sad because I missed a short putt off hole 18. I'm so upset. I could have had like a hotter round, but
it
what
was
can you do?
it was
Can't make them all. Yeah.
it was fine. It was okay.
It was.
Yeah, you're down the stretch on day 4 was just really, really great. Yeah, it was really, really well played.
Yeah, and I just played boring, safe. Like I made good putts, but when you play well, it's so boring. I just wish I could play boring all the time.
It's funny, like Simon Lazard, he used to play the Simon lines, the crazy lines, whatever. He wasn't winning. He switched to boring golf, and what do you know? He wins 4 tournaments in a year.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
how it is.
It's almost like, play for par and you'll go far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one more question from me before we let you go, Chantel. Sean kind of asked this for Canadian events, but kind of overall for your disc golf season, what tournaments or even like a particular course, what are you looking forward to most to visit this year?
Oh, see, I was really looking forward to US Women's. That was like the one tournament that I was like, that's the one I need to go to. And I feel like that's kind of why I performed well too, because last year I did pretty well. I think I was in 26. And it's just so amazing having such a huge tournament for women. And the payouts were amazing. Like it went down to 45th place. Like that's so awesome that so many women got to get paid. And you just feel good when you can get that cash. I don't know what it is. It's just like you basically you prove to yourself that you can do it. So I think that was the main one. I mean, I'm looking forward to Idlewild again. I hope that I can perform well because it's such a hard course and you never know what's going to happen. But I think, that's another one that I'm hoping to do well again at.
Have you played Northwood Black?
Yeah, I did. I just played it so bad. So I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it because I'm kind of scared. But you know what? I played so bad at Idlewild the first year, and then I went back and I played so good. So maybe that will be the case this year.
It'll be even better this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm
hoping
more
for.
improvement.
So wrap it up. The floor is yours. If you want to give a shout out to anyone, your sponsors or anything, have at it.
All right. Okay. Well, obviously, thank you so much, Prodigy. They've been helping out so much and being promoted to the core team. It's just awesome. I love it. And shout out to Disc Republic. They've been awesome too. A new sponsor this year, and he's just been doing such a good job and helping me out. Drive Bags, of course, and Go Towel. I've always loved Go Towel. I can't believe I didn't know they were Canadian.
They're the best.
And then you reached out this year, like, yes, that's awesome. So I love my sponsors. They're amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chantel, for joining us. Good luck this weekend. Good luck with the rest of your season. And definitely going to see you out at Foxwood. So can't wait to see you shredded out there.
I can't wait either. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. This is a great interview with Chantel Budinsky, and we'll be right back on Miss Mando. All right. We are so excited to welcome in our next guest. She's the reigning national and provincial champion in FA1. She has 15 wins in 22 career events, including an impressive 8 wins in 10 tournaments in 2023. And last weekend, she won her first ever major, taking the win in FJ18 at the USWDGC down in Texas. It's a pleasure to welcome to the Miss Mando podcast, Rebecca Dawn. First of all, congratulations on your big win down in Texas, and thanks for joining the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So
yeah, of course.
You're what, 16, 17, something like that?
Yeah, I just turned 16 on February 26th.
Fantastic. And so how long have you actually been playing disc golf? Because I know the family is like the disc golf is the family business, it seems.
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing? How did you get started? To assume just because everybody in your family plays?
Yes. So how I got into it was my sister Jessica. She married Joey Voskamp, and Joey and his brother Jake, they played a lot of ultimate frisbee, and then they found out about disc golf. And so then Jake told Joey about it, and then Joey got it into our family when he married my sister. So that's how like we heard about it. And for when I started, I think this is my third season in competition, and I'd played a year before that. So I think I'm coming up on 4 years playing, and then just my third year in competition.
So basically a COVID player like so many of us.
Yeah.
Wow. And amazing what you've accomplished in just really just a few years. So you've played everything from FJ15 and, you know, FA1. You've pretty much won everything in those. And now you look like you're playing mostly FPO now. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be playing a lot of FPO in like Canada. And then because I can't cash out yet because I'm still junior and I'm on the Innova junior team. So I'll be like merching out, not cashing out specifically.
Is that a condition of being on the junior team?
Yeah, it is. And I can't go to Junior Worlds if I cash out. So we'll see how long I'll be merching out. If I really like Junior Worlds, then maybe I'll do it again next year.
So that answers my next question. I was going to ask, I take it your plan is to go down to Junior Worlds then?
Yep. I just signed up today.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Where is it being held this year?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's fine.
Yep.
Pretty good trip. Are you planning to do AM Worlds as well, or just Junior Worlds?
That is still being decided. I don't know if I'll be doing that or not. We'll see though.
I mean, AM Worlds is just in Michigan. That's not that long a drive.
Yeah. So it's in consideration.
Very cool. I assume that there's no issue with you playing Junior Worlds and AM Worlds?
No.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, we know why she's not taking cash. I mean, she's going to dominate on both of those. That'd be amazing to watch.
So other than you're obviously taking the win, which is obviously the biggest highlight of last weekend, I'm assuming, what were some other of the big highlights going down to Texas for you? How was the course there? The whole event as a whole? There's a ton of women down in one place for that event. Give me kind of your overall experience from that time down there.
Yeah. So I got there 2 days early, and I like just flew off the plane from getting there, and we drove to the course, which was like 7 minutes from the airport.
Oh, wow.
And immediately on hole 1, I met up with like 4 girls and FJ15, and the dad recognized me from on Instagram. And it was one of my teammates who was there, and I ended up playing that whole round with them. So that was like really nice. They were so inviting. And so I immediately met 4 people in FJ15, and we played the course together. So that was really cool. I already met some people. And then on Wednesday night, it was the players' party, and it was crazy.
Really?
Like, we went to this big building, and we had like, we all fit into this hallway or whatever, and they did the microphone with like the intro and the players meeting. And then the players' party was just downstairs, where there was like a buffet and arcade games, and there's like an indoor roller coaster.
What?
And we got to do bowling, mini putting, go-karting, everything for free. And then we stayed there for like an hour and a half, and then we went to a rodeo.
Of course.
So Wednesday was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really threw you into the Texas experience.
Yep. Yeah.
Was it more of a junior player party, or was it the whole tournament player party?
It was everyone. It was pretty funny because everyone who was like signed up for the tournament got a $10 coupon for arcade games, and a lot of ladies ended up giving us, the juniors, their tickets. So I ended up with like $50 for arcade games because they're like, we aren't going to use these, so you go ahead.
Did you get like the tickets and like turn it in for like a stuffed animal or something? Was it like skee ball, or was it like video games?
It was a lot of video games. There were games where you could win some chocolate or some stuffed animals, but I didn't win in any of them. It was, yeah.
How were too busy winning on the course?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, which course, or did you play one or two courses?
We played 2 courses. So the first 2 days was on one course, Live Oak, and then Saturday and Sunday was on another course named Wells Branch.
How did you like them?
They were good.
Yeah.
It was.
What style courses were they? Yeah.
They were very short. It was like they were in parks. So the one was like just recently made in a brewery, like in the backyard of one. And it was like the longest hole was 315 feet and it was all par 3s. Then there was one par 5, which was pretty fun. It was eagleable. And then the next course, Wells Branch, that was like really, really short. Like every single hole was a par 3. The longest hole was 300 feet, I think. And like going up to every hole, I had a pretty good chance at birdieing it, but it was very windy. The conditions made it a lot harder, but it was like a very small park area.
Is that the course? I think you had a run of like 9 birdies in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
A bit of a birdie or die course. Was it a little bit more of a FJ10? Was the FJ10 and 15s on the same course?
Yeah.
That makes it a little bit
all
more
the juniors
sense.
were together.
Yeah. Did you think it was was it a fun course, or were the courses fun, or would you have liked to have a little bit more challenge?
I think I would have liked a course that's like longer because I really like longer courses, I think. But it was a good challenge for me to get like the shorter game in there and like get the putter shots really good. So it was a good it was good for me to do that because there's not a lot of tournaments out here in Canada that's like really short courses. So it was good for that, but I think I do wish it was like a little bit longer.
It was basically like a mid-range course, practicing your upshots.
Yeah, and then putting. Yeah.
Well, and you have the distance to handle a little bit of a longer course as well. And speaking of distance throwers, I've seen at chess.com and I believe at US Women's as well, you managed to get some rounds in with Ellie Midling. Speaking of some absolute bombers, how did that kind of come about? You meeting up with her? How have you been like keeping in contact with her as she's been out on tour this year? How's that going?
Yeah, so I met her at the chess.com. I got a picture with her and then she like handed me a disc. She's like, "Oh, do you want a disc?" And she like just gave me one of her discs out of her bag and I was like,
amazing.
This was awesome.
Amazing.
But she was really excited to see like me and my sisters there. She was like, "Wait, whoa, there's like actually girls coming here to watch, especially from Canada." So she was really excited when she saw us. And then she gave me her number and we just kept in touch, and then we played around at Olympus on the Tuesday after the competition, and so I got to play around with her and that was very fun. And then we kept in touch and I knew that she was going to Texas, so then we met up there. She went to the rodeo with us and yeah, she's awesome. She's a good friend.
I met her and her mom at All Stars, and just so nice, really nice people. How did you like Olympus? That's a beast of a course.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so cool to play. I loved it. It was way different to any course I've ever played. Like you're throwing down a mountain.
It's like not just a catchy name. Yeah, throwing off those cliffs on like 5 and 18 is nuts.
Yeah, it was so cool. I loved it. Very unique, every single hole.
Do you think you'll get down to play Throw Down the Mountain at some point? Or have you played it before?
Maybe. I haven't ever played that. It's a possibility, maybe.
I mean, we really like Texas, so every year we usually go on vacation, and it's been in Florida a lot of the time, but we may be moving it to Texas. A little less busy.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. And so a lot of really good courses.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned that you got to play on the Olympus course. You went down and you've won in FJ18. And we also mentioned that you've now signed up for, up here in Canada, all FPO events. What are your future goals within the sport of disc golf? Do you see yourself being a touring professional one day, being out there on the pro tour and making money playing the sport?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about because I'm in grade 10 right now, and when I'm going out to the States and being in that atmosphere, I love it so much. It's like it's hard coming back because it's so different going back to school and then going out there and like seeing everyone else. But it's very appealing to me, like going on tour, especially with like friends out there. A lot of the people that I've met out there, like Ezra. So I think it may be a possibility after high school, going out on tour for a year or so, or seeing how it goes. But yeah, I think that would be really fun. I'm excited to continue traveling with this, and yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to go on tour after high school.
I think this is like, 5 years ago, this wouldn't really be an option, but where the tour is at, and with the pros that are now there sort of paving the way, that it's becoming more and more of a viable option to try.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
speaking of kind of
awesome.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of the the growth of disc golf, there is now this year going to be the OFSA disc golf championship as well. You said you're in grade 10 right now. Are you going to be able to compete in that?
I'm unfortunately no. When I saw that, I was so excited and I emailed him, but it's a regional event, and so it only counts for the people in Western Ontario, only in that region.
Okay.
So I was really hoping on getting a team out there and playing, but he said it's only that region. But I hope it goes really well and they spread it to like an official OFSA event.
Mm-hmm. You need to start lobbying in your area.
That's what I was going to say. A regional event for the area that you're in to go to an OFSA championship, something like that would be cool too.
Yes.
Hopefully in the future.
That would be very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what, since you're not playing OFSA, what tournaments are you sort of looking forward to in Ontario this year?
I'm really excited to play Foxwood. It's a tournament that I've like heard a lot about it, but I've never gone there. So I'm excited to try that out.
Foxwood's a lot of fun. You'll have a great time.
And then I think like Junior Worlds is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But in Canada, I think so far I'm signed up for Foxwood. P15 is coming up soon. That'll be fun. Top Link Open. I'm curious about that one. That'll be cool. Then I can't think of any others on the top of my head. But
do you try and play?
Yeah, I'm really.
Do you try and play a lot of tournaments, or do you try and be a little more selective in the events that you play and just sort of play like the best tournaments?
I usually try to play like quite a few, but some of them, like if I really don't like the course or there's not going to be like a lot of people there, then I might not do it. If it's like a C tier and there's like no one else in FPO or FA1, then it might not be a bigger option. But yeah, I try to do a lot of tournaments like as much as I can. I just love competing, especially with like my family going with. If they can come with, then we're probably going to do it.
I imagine that they're still probably the chauffeurs at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just turned. Well, speaking of, maybe not have the driver's license just yet.
Well, I
working on it.
Yeah, today I drove from town back to my house today, so that was my first time driving. That
That's
was dumb.
exciting. It went well. That's
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
still
Didn't
all
crash yet.
10 fingers and toes, still
Yep.
good there. That's good. All right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of tournaments, I mentioned in your intro that you're currently the reigning champion at Canadian Nationals and Ontario Provincials in FA1. Do you have plans on playing both of those events this year to, I would say, defend your title, but you're playing FPO in Canada this year, so maybe even stepping up and trying to take the title again, but in a higher division this year?
I don't think Nationals will be a thing in BC. That's a pretty ways,
bit of a hike.
ways away, especially since I just went to Texas. We're going to Oklahoma and all that. I don't think Nationals will be a thing, but provincials for sure. Yeah. And I'll be an FPO for that, but we'll see what happens. I got no pressure on myself this year. I just
will you be able to sign up? Will you be able to sign up for the Diameter Open, the Q Series?
Yes. Oh yeah, that's another one that I'm in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. That'll be fun. Have some fun competition there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So we mentioned, sorry, Sean. We mentioned a few times that you're sponsored by Innova as of this year. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
So far with the new disc, I don't know if you could have been throwing all Innova beforehand. I'm not too sure, but so far this year, what are kind of some of your favorite molds that you've gotten to try out as a part of Team Innova?
I really liked the Hawkeye. I was just introduced to that a bit ago, but that's going pretty well. The Mako 3 is really good.
Classic.
It just goes so straight. The pigs are pretty cool. I was testing those out just last weekend. I have invaders. Those are pretty good. Trying to think of them. I had quite a few drivers in my bag beforehand, so the Wraith has always been really good. I have a perfect beat-in Wraith, which is it's perfect. I don't know how I'm gonna replace it, but yeah, it's a very good driver. But I love Innova. It wasn't too hard trying to change my bag because there were a lot of replacements that were just perfect.
Speaking of Innova as well, what kind of support are they offering you this season with the sponsorship?
Yeah, so I'm on the junior team. They only require me to do 5 tournaments because I'm a junior, but that's easy to do.
No problem. You've pretty much already done that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are paying for my registration for Junior Worlds. I have a 50 disc allotment, so I get 50 discs this year that I can choose, and then with the team orders I can order apparel and everything. And I just found out that I'll be getting an email about it, the specifics, but since I just won the major, they'll be giving me 100 discs. They said commemorative discs, so I don't know if that means my name will be on it or not, but they're giving me 100 discs to do whatever I want with them, sell them, give them away or whatever. So that's also pretty cool.
Now, if you end up if those are commemorative with your name on them and you're selling any, you can mark me down for one for sure.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Are there any other shout outs or any other, is Innova currently your only sponsor? If you want to shout out anybody else, the floor is yours.
All right. Yeah, just Innova and then T3. That's my other team. They're pretty cool. And yeah, that's it for now.
For now.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know.
There will be more. We absolutely guarantee that. Well, thank you very much, Rebecca, for joining us here on Missed Mando. We're so excited to watch you progress in the sport, and congratulations again for taking down FJ18 at USWDGC. And we'll see you out there on the course.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being with us. Kat Johnson has been playing disc golf since around 2016 and went pro in 2021. I first met Kat when I caddied for her at the Toronto Island Maple Leaf in 2021. Since then, she has played the Las Vegas Challenge, Worlds, D-Glow, the Memorial, the American Flying Disc Open, and this year went to Thailand to play in Terry Miller's Samui Swine. And if that's not enough, she just got back from USWDGC. Welcome to Miss Mando, Toronto's own Kat Johnson.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you both for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. So am I right? You first joined the PDGA back in 2016. I'm not sure if that's when you actually started playing disc golf. Is that around that?
Shortly after, like maybe a few months after I started playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first few years, you didn't really you didn't really play many tournaments. You only sort of jumped into the competitive scene in around 2020. So how did you get into disc golf, and why was there sort of the lag in the tournament play, and what got you into playing tournaments?
Well, I got into disc golf just because Cody and I, my husband, we were both walking through a park that ended up being ET Seton, and we saw these funny looking metal baskets, and we Googled it to find out what they were, and we discovered it was like a Frisbee based sport. And naturally, like we both come from Ultimate, so we took out our Ultra Stars to the course next time, and we played around, and we thought it was really fun, and we just kind of like slowly kept on with it, got into it. And for me it was kind of like I didn't get super hooked immediately because I was competing in Ultimate. I was like part of a couple touring teams throughout the years, so my focus was mainly competitive Ultimate, which is like a lot of practices and training and fitness and all that kind of stuff. So that's why there was like that bit of a gap, because I was like really, really focused on that. But in the meantime, I was playing like casual disc golf rounds here and there, and like eventually moving my way up to like throwing actual disc golf discs, which took me some time to get into, and just like using hand-me-downs from friends. And but then my first tournament experience, that was 2016 when I joined the PDGA, was, I think it was called the Ontario Women's Disc Golf Championships. And that was back in Bronte. That was my first tournament, and it was so fun. I remember having a blast, being like very inspired by like all the amazing like female disc golfers that I saw. And I don't know, it just like left a really good impression on me. And although I didn't like start getting into the competitive scene right away, it kind of like, I don't know,
planted the seed.
Yeah, exactly. And then a couple of years go by, and then I started getting more and more into disc golf, and like I'm finding myself playing almost every weekend. And then I just kind of found like just like a desire to like improve my game, and just practice more and maybe like compete. So I decided early 2020, late 2019 to get my I guess that's when I got my PDGA. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself a little bit. I didn't actually get my PDGA until early 2020. So yeah, I just decided that's the year I was going to compete, like go into disc golf and like have Ultimate take a back seat. And then that's just ultimately when COVID hit, and then it just kind of opened the door to just having all that extra free time to really put a lot more work into my game. And honestly, the rest is history. I really got, bitten by the disc golf bug, and yeah, here I am. I'm like more of a disc golfer than an Ultimate player now. So I never thought I'd see the day.
One of us.
Trying to convert more and more Ultimate players as I go.
Love it. So how active are you still in Ultimate? Now, obviously, that slowed down during the pandemic, which gave you more time for disc golf. But how active are you in it still? And how do you find the like comparison or the crossover between Ultimate and disc golf? Do you find that it's, I mean, obviously both disc sports, so a lot of crossover there, but like the mechanics of throwing are definitely different. The size of the frisbee compared to a disc is different. So how do you find the crossover of the two sports?
Well, so I'm fairly active in Ultimate still. Like I play League Night twice a week. And in the winter I played a couple of like 4-on-4 tournaments. So it's like a bit of a smaller format, faster paced. And but the crossover is interesting. Like there's some similarities in terms of the mechanics, especially for backhands. Backhand pulling, for example, like pulling is when you kind of start off the point, like one team throws the frisbee to the other team at the other end of the end zone, and it's very much like a disc golf drive. And I was kind of like the puller for a few of my teams, so I already had that kind of like background skill before going into disc golf. So that part's similar, but the discs, like Ultrastars, are very understable. So obviously, like you're gonna want it, to throw it nose up, lots of hyzer to like get it to float nice and straight. So the transition between throwing Ultrastars to disc golf discs was kind of a learning curve there. And I find myself still trying to work that out of my system, getting a lot better with it, but that's always going to be just more ingrained in my muscle memory. And then lastly, like forehands, totally different. It's very wrist snap based and arm based versus disc golf. It's a lot of like upper and lower body. So, and totally different form and release. So there's some similarities, some differences, but honestly, a lot of the skills are transferable, I'd say. Yeah.
Very cool. So earlier this year, as we mentioned in the intro, you were over in Thailand playing the legendary Samui Swine. How was that? How did that come about? What was the course like? Was it a great event?
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. It was just a very surreal experience. It was my first time playing disc golf internationally, like outside of North America. And yeah, I've watched it on YouTube for many years, and wanted to go to Thailand for many years. And this year, Cody and I were like contemplating, should we go? But then the tournament filled up. And so like our dreams were dashed. But then magically, I think the story goes like Philo, the reigning champ, Philo Brathwaite, he, I think, was trying to get in. He noticed it was full, and I think they ended up expanding the tournament because of him.
He wasn't even registered.
No.
Wow. You think
And
he would have a permanent spot?
Right. Yeah, he should. And I guess like he basically essentially did, because they expanded the tournament for him, is what I believe that's how the story goes. And luckily for me, I noticed that they expanded it like maybe mid-January, and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe we should just do this thing. Let's just go, bucket list destination, bucket list tournament. Let's do it. I booked the time off work, booked my flights, all the accommodations, signed up for the tournament. 1 week later, we're in Thailand.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it's just, the course is very cool. It's definitely a lot shorter than what we're used to in Canada as far as like a championship level course, but it's
what kind of hole length
setting.
What kind of hole lengths are we talking about?
On average, probably in the mid 200 feet.
Okay.
But then there are some longer holes, like there's some 300-foot holes. I think there's one over 400-foot hole, which is a par 4. But what I will say is that it's very technical, and yeah, you have to be very precise. It's like a birdie or die kind of course. There's a lot of these like very tall coconut trees, because it's on a coconut plantation. Very tall coconut trees, not forgiving if you hit them. And tight lines, lots of OB, lots of like dog legs. So like lots of very technical shots you have to throw, like either, spike hyzer backhands or forehand shots, like flip up shots that go around the trees. Like there's so many different shot shapes you can throw. And it's just about keeping it out of the trees and in the fairway and making those putts and getting those birdies. So yeah, it was definitely a different kind of challenge for me, because I do prefer like the longer, more open courses. So it was a good challenge for me to kind of work on my short game and, like just my accuracy. So it was a really good experience for that. And just, the fact that you're in Thailand, you're at this amazing tournament, met lots of really cool folks from all around the world, like lots of Europeans, which we don't really come across very much in Canada. So it's like really cool meeting folks from like that community and just making connections and friendships from there and from like locals in Thailand. And the food in Thailand was great. It was just an overall awesome trip. Like I can't believe I got to do it. And then on the way home, we played around in Japan. So
Oh, wow.
it was just a really,
Nice.
really good time. Yeah.
But also you placed fourth. You cashed at the Samui Swine, your first cash of the year. Very cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Helps a little bit pay for the trip, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did
Every little
Cody
bit
also
helps.
play?
He did.
How did he
Yeah,
do?
he played an MPO. He did really well.
Mhm.
He had a pretty like not the hot round, but he shot pretty well, I think, in his
Really?
second round.
Wonderful.
But a lot of good competition in MPO. So I don't believe he cashed, but he still like had a great time just as well. Played with lots of awesome people.
Awesome. Great.
Fun on coverage, so that's fun.
Similar to you, I've been seeing that tournament for a while now, and I've always wanted to go. And it is actually seeing your Instagram stories when you were down there convinced me that I was like, all right, next year I have to make it happen. And now hearing you talk about it, I'm even more convinced that I need to make it happen. So I think
Yeah.
2025, I'm going to be down in Thailand to check out that tournament. It just sounds like such a blast.
You should. I highly recommend it. It's so worth the trip. And you're on an island in Thailand. Island.
Right.
But anyways, you won't regret it. It's an amazing experience. So you should totally do it if you're thinking about it.
Traveling to play disc golf, what can be better? And speaking of that, you're just getting back now from Austin, where you were down for the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship. This was your first time playing in the USWDGC. How was your overall experience down in Texas?
Overall, amazing. I've been to Austin before, so I love Austin, love the food, love the culture, just love everything about it. And the tournament itself was a great experience. It was very difficult course. It's kind of like the exact opposite of my game, so I got to work on a lot. It was like physically and mentally very challenging. I'm not sure if you've seen coverage, but it's very wooded, like a lot of like really tight lines and like really specific lines you have to hit, and like long holes. And a lot of holes are like kind of more lefty oriented, so to throw a lot of forehands, a lot of gap hits. I feel like almost every hole there was a gap you had to hit, which made the tee shot like that much more intimidating. So if you get caught sleeping on a couple of your drives, like that's it, like par's out of the question. So yeah, just navigating that and like just trying to stay focused and like stay confident in your shots throughout an entire round at that course is very difficult. It's a very like just a casual round there. Like our practice rounds took at least 3 hours. So it's a long course, a lot of walking. So like there's that, but then also just trying to, like just really focus on your game and focus on executing what you need to do to score well is a big challenge. So, and it makes me really appreciate just the level of the top pros, because they're making the course look relatively easy. Like you could definitely see that some people struggled a lot, which makes me feel a little better that I wasn't alone in that. But yeah, they really show like how to navigate those types of situations and courses. And I'm definitely going to be taking a lot away from this tournament. And not only that, but just again, like meeting and playing with a lot of folks that like from the States that I don't often get to play with up in Canada. Like there's a few people I've played with before in the past, but there's also some people that I've like seen on, you know, Pro Tour coverage or just seen on Instagram. Got to play with them. So yeah, that part was pretty awesome. Meeting lots of really cool people.
So Sprinkle Valley was designed just for the FPO tour. Did you think it was a good design for the FPO field? Because I mean, it looked pretty good, and top score was, I think, -12 over 4 rounds, which by Pro Tour standards is it's pretty high. As a spectator, that seemed pretty good. Maybe a tick too hard. Maybe it could have been a couple extra par strokes here and there.
Yes.
But overall, how did you find it certainly compared to the other Pro Tour events that you've played?
Yeah, I think it was well designed for the caliber of tournament. So because it's a major, it's meant to just like challenge the best of the best and like really separate them from the rest of the field. You know, if you have all your skills dialed in, you're going to do well at this course. There's a few holes that I feel like could have been like a par 5, like that were a par 4. But other than that, I think it was well designed. Personally, I'm just trying to like not be biased because it was hard for me, but I'm just trying to think like in terms of like the top pros or like the main FPO field. I think it was well designed, like lots of, you know, accurate, straight wooded shots, like some flip up backhands, forehands. Like the distances weren't too bad, especially on some of the par 4s. And a lot of the par 3s were pretty gettable as well. So I'd say it was well designed for FPOM. I feel like, you know, MPO and even just like any disc golfer, I think it's well designed. But it's kind of one of those courses that's like very rewarding if you hit your line, which, you know, it's good to play those kind of courses every now and again. Something that's like not as forgiving as other courses that really challenges you. I feel like that will help any disc golfer like grow as a player.
Did you take in many of the sort of periphery events as part of USDGC, the fly marts and the players' parties and things like that?
Yeah, we went to the kind of like the opening ceremonies, like the players' party there. It was like an indoor-outdoor amusement park kind of place.
That's cool.
It was really fun. There was like a bowling alley, a mini golf, go-karts, arcades, buffet, you name it. So we spent some time there, and we had a blast. It was really fun.
Very cool.
But yeah, there was definitely so many events. Like it was impossible to like make it to all of them. But I mean, like kudos to the organizers for really making it like a jam-packed week. I know they had some like flex starts as well. Yeah, they had like a rodeo, fly mart. We unfortunately didn't get to that, but because my round was like ending just around the time the fly mart was starting, and we just wanted to like go home and like eat and stuff like that. So it was like the timing wasn't the best, but yeah, like we tried to take as much in as possible, and there was just so much to do.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like as a whole, Austin, the city of Austin, that's where it was, and like kind of the surrounding area is pretty top notch as a disc golf destination.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like I don't want to say disc golf mecca, but like I don't even know how many courses are in Austin, but like in the double digits easily. And there's a lot of like really top courses, a lot of like John Houck designed courses, who I believe is from Texas. I could be wrong. But there's a lot of, you know, his courses out there. So, you know, there's some like really high caliber courses. We tried to play as many as possible during the week. So we got a lot of disc golf in during the week, probably more than we should have, given the fact that it was a tournament. But, you know, you just had to. Yeah, we played Roy G. We played Zilker Park. Cody played Met Center. I sat that one out. But I walked through the course with him for a lot of the holes, and it was beautiful. And then we also drove down to Flying Armadillo. It's like an hour south of Austin, which was very unique, very fun. There's like, the thing it's famous for is this putt-putt course. So it's kind of like every hole's got its own like little gimmick. So it's kind of like mini putt style where you kind of have to, throw through obstacles like dinosaurs and big birds and lighthouses, and a lot of holes have like their own like unique little gimmick thing. And then they also have an actual like a real course on the property as well, like a big course. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. So lots to do, really cool property as well, like so unique, like different than anything I've ever been to. Even like the terrain with the trees and like the landscaping of the course is beautiful as well. So like that's definitely a must do if you're in the Austin area or in Texas at all.
And for anyone that wants to see how you played at that course, you can of course go to Chantel Budinsky, Miss Frisbee's YouTube, which just had a video come out. You can't see our screens on the other hand, but you literally took the next question from our show notes, just like right perfectly, led with it perfectly. That was show magic right there. Yeah, just great minds think alike.
Indeed.
Yeah, we were talking with Chantel and about Flying Armadillo, and it just looks like disc golf mini putt or something. Like it.
Yeah, exactly.
It just looks like the most fun course ever.
Oh yeah, it's just a riot, and it's like it's just so fun. Like each hole is just so fun to try to ace, and I don't know, it's just a blast.
So it looked like the four of you had an amazing time out
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you see Flying Armadillo arriving on the Pro Tour anytime soon?
I wish.
That would be amazing. So speaking of the Pro Tour, you've played a bunch of Pro Tour stops already. What's your 2024 season looking like? Are you looking to hit some more Pro Tour events?
I'm hoping to do Deglow again. I love the course, and it's just kind of like the closest Pro Tour stop to me. It's only like a short, I don't know, like 5-6 hour drive. But other than that, like it's kind of hard to make it work with traveling and time off work, and I'm focusing on a lot of like local tournaments, as well as trying to do pro worlds as well. So there's not a lot of like Pro Tour events that kind of fit into that, but hoping that I could still do Deglow, because I
mostly focusing on majors is what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense. It's important. Why waste your time with piddly little disc golf Pro Tour events when you can just focus on the majors and win those?
That's right.
Exactly.
Or have lots of tournaments north of the border, which of course we love seeing you out. I've run into you a couple times on the course. Sean obviously mentioned in your intro he's caddied for you before. So in north of the border, what Canadian tournaments are you looking most forward to this year? And I see that you're registered for Diameter Open, which is going to be a big one up here. Any others that are sticking out to you that you're like just really itching to get to?
Yeah, I'm so excited for the P15 Open. I love that course. That property is amazing. It's just so fun to play, and it's just kind of a special place. And I don't know, it's just a magical course that I love playing. So I'm really looking forward to that. Plus, it has the added bonus of like being close to like our family cottage, so it's just a like short drive away. So that's always fun. Looking forward to Foxwood and Diameter Open. They're both like high like caliber tournaments that are also throw pink qualifiers. So really hoping to do well at those so I can hopefully get in. We'll see, fingers crossed. I feel like I do enjoy Foxwood, and that kind of plays into my disc golf style. So hopefully I can do all this year there. I always look forward to playing Christie Lake. I'm just signed up for so many tournaments. I'm just trying to remember
You're
where they
going
all
down to
are, but
you're going down to play the Syracuse Open. I've seen that show up on a few people's registration list. What piqued your attention about that one? I don't know anything about that event.
you know what? I haven't heard too much about it except that it's a great course. Like I just heard from friends that it's a great course,
Mhm.
a fun time. I think they put in a lot of like added cash as well, so that's always a nice
Even nice.
incentive. Yeah. So I just thought I'd check it out. You know, a lot of people from Ontario are going, so I thought it'd be cool to have a little contingent of Canadians going there.
Take it down.
We'll see.
I haven't seen anything announced for it yet this year. You're a Torontonian, so maybe actually both you guys are, so maybe there's a little insider knowledge. But assuming that it's back this year, are you going to be doing the Toronto Island Maple Leaf again to defend your title? Because of course, last year you won your first A-tier tournament, taking it down the Timmel tournament in September. Is that going to be on your schedule this year if it's around?
Yes, that is. Thank you for mentioning that because I always look forward to playing Timmel. I believe this year they're calling it the Toronto Island Open. So
Mhm.
yes, it's back. That I know for sure. I know they've just released information about the amateur series, so the Timmel or TIO Silver, but TIO Gold that hasn't like dates haven't been released yet for that. But I know they're working on it, so that's definitely happening
Awesome.
some point this summer. I don't think it's going to happen just the weekend that it's usually on, but it's definitely happening this summer. Hopefully it's not like it's not happening during another tournament because I gotta go back, defend my title. I
Absolutely.
love playing on the island as well. It's just like so nice to play a tournament like on your home turf, and
Mhm.
the island is so special. It's just such a beautiful course. It's so fun. It's just so unique, and it's just like it has a special place in my heart because it's my home course.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The ferry ride over, you can just like feel the excitement starting to brew.
yeah. It's just so cool. Like that is the taking a ferry and like just getting there is like such a fun journey. Just everything about it is great.
So this year you are on Team Castaplast. That is exciting. Congratulations for that. Um, so you're learning new discs. You're learning new molds. Which Castaplast discs are you most sort of excited to throw, and why is it the Berg?
Well, the Berg is just such a unique disc. I mean, just for the shape alone, there's no other disc like it. It's just like a point and shoot, super straight.
Mhm.
Just doesn't go too far, which can be a problem on approaches for me. I tend to just like jack it,
Mhm.
goes forever. But yeah, the Berg is great for just like those nice approach shots, nice and straight.
Mhm.
I love the Falk. I've been bagging that one for a while. Because of the way my season kind of started like happened so quickly, I haven't had like a really a whole lot of time to like hit the field and like try out new molds. So I still haven't thrown all the Castaplast molds. So I'm looking forward to just trying them out. I've heard so many great things about the Stig, about the Cax. Like there's just so many awesome molds to try. And I'm just like, I can't wait for some nice weather and just like an open field to just hit that up and just try to learn some discs. So
I've got
it's always a
my
fun process.
my 2023 Cat Johnson Tour Series disc over here.
Yeah,
Can
I
we
noticed that.
can we expect a 2024 stamp from you on some sweet Castaplastic?
I'm working on it. I'm working
Awesome.
on something. Yeah, cooking something up. So hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully soon there'll be something coming out.
Very cool. I'm excited for it.
Thanks. And thanks for supporting me.
Always. All right. And you are also on Team Backbone Discs. So as best I can tell, they're a maker of custom wood minis and trophies for disc golf.
Mhm.
Pretty cool. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I met the owner, Michael, when I played at the American Flying Disc Open in Rochester. That's where they're located, in Rochester, New York. And him and his team are responsible for making the trophies for, I believe, the amateur side. And they also made lots of beautiful wooden minis for the tournament as well.
They're gorgeous.
And yeah, they're beautiful. And I don't know, we just were chatting, and I don't know, next thing you know, he reaches out to me during the off season and asks me if I wanted to be on his team, and I was very surprised. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, and I'm very grateful he reached out. And Backbone's really, that they are my main sponsor, and they're really supporting me in ways that no other sponsorship has been able to. So I'm just like completely blown away by it, and like super grateful, and like I don't know what I did to deserve a sponsorship like that, but hey, like I don't know. All I can say is I'm very grateful. I love, like, you know, that they're supporting women's disc golf. I'm the only FPO player on the team and the only Canadian, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, so they also sell a variety of manufacturers as well, and they do towels, they do dry bags, they do minis, like not just wooden minis, but like metal minis. They have apparel as well, so they just kind of do the whole gamut of things. So yeah, shout out to Backbone Disc Golf.
Very cool. Everybody should definitely go check that out. We'll put a link in the show notes.
They ship to Ontario now.
Even better.
So that's breaking news. $10 flat rate shipping.
Are there any? I was going to say, are there any codes that that people should use?
Recon 10 if you want 10% off your order.
Awesome. We'll include that for sure.
Sweet.
Well, Kat, it has been so awesome having you on the show. Before we let you go, do you have any final comments or any shout outs before we let you go?
Well, I will shout out to my sponsors again, Backbone Disc Golf, Castaplas Mint, She Dyes Her Discs. That's a big one too. I love them, love their work. They make beautiful discs, just lovely people all around. Check them all out. And of course, P3.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on Miss Mando. And we will see you probably tomorrow at the White Spruce Open, yes. I think.
Yeah.
We saw you out there after your practice round today. How did it go?
Pretty good. Yeah, I was feeling very, very good about things. Yeah. After coming back from Sprinkle Valley,
it's a little different.
White Spruce. It's a little very different. Open. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, thank you both for having me on the show. Had a good time.
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
Thanks, you two guys. Bye.
Thanks, all right. It's a pleasure to welcome in our next guest. She first joined the PDGA in 2021 and very quickly went pro in 2022. She's currently rated 911, which is the fourth highest rated woman in Canada. And she has been steadily making her name known in tournaments, cashing all over British Columbia, including wins last year at the BC Provincial Championships and Falcons Flight 14, her second career A-tier win. It is a pleasure to welcome to the Miss Mando podcast from Victoria, BC, Gabby Lee. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. So as I mentioned, you first joined the PDGA in 2021. Is that when you started to play disc golf, or did you have some previous experience with disc golf before you signed up for the PDGA?
I would say like within 2021, like 6 months before that was kind of when I started. I think I touched a disc in 2020, kind of like late fall, and then was like, I'm not going to play through the winter. I'll let my husband keep playing, like he'll do his thing. And then he kept playing through. So by the time spring came back up again, it was like a no-brainer to keep going. And then, yeah, I think played one of my first tournaments in late 2021, which is probably why I signed up for a PDGA membership at that point. So yeah, pretty quick after that.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people, you really started to get into it in that COVID boom.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a great thing to do. And, you know, with my husband, it was just easy. We had a couple friends who were into it as well. So it kept us outside and moving and doing something else other than sitting inside during the pandemic.
So that I was going to ask, how did you get into disc golf? So it sounds like you were introduced to it by friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a couple of friends of my husband's, they're playing at a course called Millstream here in Victoria. It's tiny, it's wooded, it's like almost a putter course. There's some other things you can do, but it was just more of like, hey, like come out. We have a few discs, you can try it out. And yeah, I think Silva's hooked right away. Took me a little bit longer, but it was enough to kind of just plant the seed. We started watching some online Jomas, seeing what it's all about, and yeah, I'm sure, as you know, it latches on pretty quickly and easily. So
I absolutely know
yeah.
that. And I mean, no, I totally can't relate to that at all.
No. These are plates, right?
Yes, 100%. They're commemorative decorative plates. So you went pro pretty quick. How's the FPO scene out in British Columbia?
Yeah, I kind of had, what was it? It wasn't, I'll call it FOMO. I had a couple friends that I was playing with early on who were playing in FPO. And it was like, well, I want to play with these ladies. Like Julie Mowens was one of the first women that I started playing with, and she was playing FPO. I started in some events, FA2, FA1. I played in A tier and FA1 and did really well. So I think it was at that point that it was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I may not be able to keep up with these ladies, but I know the ladies that I'm going to be playing with are going to be ones that I enjoy playing with. It's going to push my game a bit further. It's going to be a test to see if that's actually where I want to be competitively. I'll admit I didn't start out as the most competitive person, so it was like I kind of took it as a personal, I don't know, we'll see how it goes and play it out. But at the time, like at the start of the pandemic, the divisions were much smaller. So if nothing else, it was just a way to play with more women by joining FPO. And now, like it's booming. I'm running a women's tournament in a few weeks, actually, and we have 30 women signed up.
That's fantastic.
On
Nice.
the island, which is really cool. And this is part of like a women's series, the BC Women's Series that's happening. And yeah, there's women all across British Columbia now, and it's so cool to see.
That's fantastic. I absolutely love to see it. I know I've seen, you mentioned Julie Mowens. I definitely have seen her at some events, and Sophia Donica.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. The like almost like just the three of you bringing the FPO field up in British Columbia is really just awesome.
It's been a whirlwind. Like Sophia and I, we played in I think we started playing fairly similarly at the same time. And we played in our first tournament together, not in Victoria, we played it up in Campbell River, and that's where we first met, ironically, like out of town. And we're playing an FA2 together. I think I beat her, and it's probably one of the last few times that I was able to beat her. So she's just rocketing, which is the coolest thing to see. So it's great. It keeps me pushing. It just demonstrates that next level that you can get to, even here locally. So it's an awesome community to be in.
I'd just like to point out as well, you've given yourself a little bit of an undersell mentioning that you played FA1 in an A tier and saying you did pretty well. You happened to win that tournament, as well as 2 other FA1 wins that year before officially going pro. So I think FA1 was the small pond before you jumped up into the big pond, to say the least.
Yeah.
But moving on, which Canadian events are you looking forward to most in 2024? Since it's in BC, I imagine you'll be playing in nationals this year. We mentioned in your intro, you won BC provincials last year. You also played in, I believe, finished second last year in TCO, and I think the year before you won it. In FA1. So yeah, which that's one that I was talking about. All right, so yeah, moving on. Which Canadian events are you looking forward to most in 2024? Obviously, nationals is going to be in BC. Mentioned in the intro, you won BC provincials last year. So which events are you really looking forward to most here in 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like June is going to be busy with some BC Canadian events. There's TCO BC Open, which are just kind of long-standing events that are kind of the big ones of the year. So excited for those, but especially excited for nationals, which will be up in Clearwater. I was BC Provincials last year, so I love the courses. I mean, that event as it was, I think it was just a beat tier last year. There was so much excitement around it. So many great people there. So to have it be through it, I think I froze again.
You did, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. We'll just keep going.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so just really excited for that to be nationals and just see the different level of players that may come in, maybe the extra number of women that will come in. I mean, FPO was, I think, a good size last year. I think we had about 3 cards of women who played in BC Provincials. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't go to nationals in Thunder Bay last year. So, you know, be able to check off that I went to Canadian nationals this year is going to be, it's just going to be a nice, cool check in the box to say, like, I went to nationals and, yeah, no, I'm excited for that one.
So what are the...
and obviously you play pretty well at the courses too with last year. If it's on the same courses that you played for BC Provincials, obviously pretty good for you.
Yeah. So I think, Sean, you kind of alluded to, like, what are the courses? There's the Clearwater Ski Hill, which is a really cool course that's on a ski hill. So lots of elevation. There's woods, there's tight lines. There's left to rights, right to lefts. Such a good variety, and they add, you know, some spicy OB to keep it interesting where it's not already interesting enough with all the trees, but super fun course. Like it's a treat. Like if you can get there, I hope you both do. It's really fun. So the 2 folks that work out there, there's GMAC and there's Nicoletta. They put a ton of work into that course. Like it's set up with concrete tee pads. I don't know. It's really fun. Like elevation is normally not my thing. Like if I have to throw up or downhill, I'm kind of like, oh no. But they do a really good job of it. Like thankfully it's not like all up and down. Like you kind of snake up across the hill and then you snake back down across the hill with 2 like signature holes where you're throwing down the hill. Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. Like if people go, you're gonna see videos of people trying to get onto the island from the top of the hill there. Like it's fantastic. And then the Wells Gray course is a golf course, which I quite enjoyed. They did a really good job with the setup. Not saying I'm not a golf course fan. I just prefer to be in the woods.
Me too.
But I thoroughly enjoyed that golf course. They just did a really good job of the variety of shots. There's enough water. There's enough hazard that it made it more than just like open bomber course. You still had to think about your play and your landing zone. So also a very cool course, kind of up more in the mountains there. So very cool.
Awesome. Bit different from playing in the mountains. You just got back, of course, from Austin playing USWDGC. I think this was your first USWDGC. How
USWDGC? Sorry, I cut you off.
How was the experience? Is this your first pro tour event?
First pro tour event, first major, it was many firsts. First time in Texas. Like I don't think it's fully sunk in yet. I'm so glad I went. It was such a cool experience. Like I think for whatever reason, like as soon as the registration came out or that I found out it was there, or playing at Sprinkle Valley, a course I'd never heard of, but I only had to look at a few pictures to be like, I want to play at that course. So, you know, I'd been waiting for this event since registration opens, which wasn't that long ago, like maybe 3 or 4 months before the event, but it was worth the hype that I put onto it. But it was intense. Like I don't think I fully prepared myself for what it would be like to play at a major, to play a 4-day event.
Was this the first 4-day event you've played? Like, is this the longest tournament you've played?
It is, yeah. So I'd played like a few A tiers previously, which are 3-day events, but my first 4-day event, which, yeah, it's a different beast. It's I kind of tout, or I kind of say I have a good mental game, and normally I feel like I do really have a good mental game, but it was a mental battle to get through days 3 and 4. It's, man, and I don't even know how to fully describe it yet, because it was I mean, I still feel tired from it in the best way possible, though. Like, it was just, I don't look at scores. I do that for myself to kind of keep myself in the moment. But, after a couple days, after day 2, I was in like 41st place or something. So I was like, oh, like, things are possible here. Like, I kind of went in with no expectations, but I think at that point, I really started to get in my head and overthink a bit, and playing the same course 4 times as well, I think kind of adds to that, because you're like, okay, I've played this hole. Either I know I'm confident with it or I know I'm not confident with it. And you start to set these, like, I don't know, little mini expectations for yourself along the way. So it was really cool though. Got to play with some excellent women. Got to play with Paige Pierce, Kona Panis. Like, I'm
That's
still
so
like,
cool.
Yeah.
That is like, were you just like starstruck? Like, how do you like, it's Paige Pierce. Like, how do you play next to that that caliber of superstar in the sport?
well, I did play a very good round playing with Paige Pierce, so maybe there was more of an effect than I thought. But it was really, watching these women on TV, it's something else, right? And then you stand next to them and you're like, this is really cool, but like, how cool that they're my peer in this moment.
Absolutely.
Play with them. And I don't want to say it like decrease some of the starstruckness, because, there's obviously still some of that. But I think there's just like a moment of being like, okay, like, after 2 days, I'm playing with Paige Pierce. So for whatever reason, we're playing together, which is like I'm still kind of like, whoa.
It's very cool.
It was very cool. Yeah. And it was such a fun round. Like, the round with her, the round with Kona, both excellent rounds. Like,
really good vibe.
Playing, like, really good vibe. Yeah. Paige's caddy, Jared, part of Guardian Aliens, he's like, he kept the vibe going, and it was fun. There were some backups, but we made the most of it. We all hit trees, but we cheered on each other's good shots, as we all should. And yeah, no, it was such a cool way to end the tournament, like those last 2 days. So yeah, despite maybe not finishing how I thought I might finish after a couple of days, it was all worth it.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned playing the same course for 4 rounds, that of course being the Sprinkle Valley course. What were your overall thoughts on the course itself? Did you have any like favorite or like maybe hated holes that like just you couldn't figure out, or just you couldn't wait to get off of it for some reason?
Oh my gosh. Well, first and foremost, I would have, if you'd asked me, I would have sworn that course is in the ground forever. The folks who worked on that course did such an amazing job. That course has only been in existence for like less than a year. Like, that course didn't exist when they got the disc for USWDGC, as I've heard.
I'd heard about that. Yeah.
Blew my mind. Like, I think there was a thunderstorm the night before. There was like no standing water on the course. Like, it was just impeccable. Tee pads are fantastic. Like, I wish I could play that course more regularly. Like, I don't really have any complaints about it. Just all the love, because it's the type of golf I like to play. It's in the woods. It tested everything. Like, I really need to work on a forehand, because it would have made things slightly easier for me if I had one. And yeah, there's a couple holes that I played really well. Like, I think hole 3, I played well. It's a stock, like, kind of pushing hyzer shot. But there's like a few signature holes that were really, I don't know, they're just really cool. Like, difficult, but cool. I think hole 13 was one of them, the one that kind of came down at the end. There was Ruby Creek behind. I thought the island hole on 17 was really cool, because it had like trees in the way.
Cool. Yeah.
So cool. They did a really good job with it.
You get the left line or the right line. Those baffles to prevent the skip onto the island, or to keep you from skipping off.
Yes. It was just so well done. Like, I got my birdie 2 days. I got a bogey a couple days. So it's it all
you got a birdie. That's the key.
That's the key. I stuck the island for a couple days, managed to hit those pesky trees in the middle on 3rd day, and then it was so windy on Friday. Yeah, I think everyone did. But yeah, speaking of like holes that I didn't love, and not because it wasn't a great hole, it's just I never played it very well, was hole 18.
That was a monster.
what a beast.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big distance thrower. So for me to get to the landing zone, that's 3 shots. And if I want a par, I have to play that up shot perfectly, which, as you may have also seen, did not play perfectly.
OB,
I think I got
both
like
sides on that approach.
yes, yeah. It was kind of
And a blind approach over a hill.
blind approach over like a set of stairs.
Yeah.
And see,
Wild.
you know, the distance wasn't actually huge. Like I think in a couple of my practice rounds, like I could get to the. It wasn't an island, but it was kind of like delineated by wood and wood chips. But yeah, man, I just did not set myself up well to finish off on that hole. So I was hoping by the end of the weekend I could improve my score from the 9 I got on the first day. But I think I just hockey sticked it for the rest of the event. So it is what it is. Maybe next year if I go back to that course I can try again. But yeah, ultimate nemesis hole.
So go back to Sprinkle Valley. So what did you think of Austin as a disc golf destination? I've heard pretty amazing things.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get to see too much more of Austin. The way my husband and I did the trip is we came in on the weekend and I actually worked remotely for a few days during the week. So it was actually do practice 9 in the morning, work for the day, practice 9 for the evening. But my husband, Sylv, he did get to go out and try a few of the other courses. He went to Roy G, he went to Circle C, I think it was. And then there was one more course that he went to. I don't recall the name, but he's like, if you can come and make it work, if you're tired of Sprinkle Valley for whatever reason, like 100% worth going to those courses. Like, so anecdotally, I know it's fantastic. We missed out on going to the Armadillo disc golf
Flying
course.
Armadillo.
It's like an flying armadillo.
Oh yeah,
we missed out on going.
We were talking to Chantel and Kat about the flying armadillo, and we just saw her video that she posted up on YouTube, and it looks so incredible. It's so fun.
It looks so cool, and like it's funny. We had folks from the Waterloo Disc Golf Club, and I guess a couple of the people who either run the Armadillo disc golf course or frequent it, and they completely undersold it. They're like, here are a couple passes, top rated course. It's a short course, but you know, it's not on UDisc number 1 because it's too short. And we're like, okay, like, you know, maybe we'll check it out. And then it was after I got home and I started seeing people post videos of like, you know, their hole-in-one bank shots, like up through the top, down the. I was like, that's the flying armadillo. Like, we should have gone. So
absolutely should have gone.
Missed opportunity there. But next time,
just a reason to go back to Austin.
Exactly. But yeah, we lucked out on the weather. It was nice and warm. So yeah, no complaints about Austin.
Do you think you're going to try and get to USWDGC in Wisconsin next year?
I think so. I think yeah. It's
I
have the bug. Yeah, exactly. I got the bug. I need to go back. Like, you know, that's not going to be my only major. You know, kind of finishing out that tournament was, you know, despite the highs and the lows, I know it's something that I want to keep doing, which is cool in itself, right? So, will be my last. If I can get to Wisconsin next year, that'll be perfect. And but if not, then maybe another major. Who knows?
Heck yeah. So what about this year? Now that you've had you went down, nice big trip down to Texas, got a little taste of the Pro Tour and playing in a major. Do you have any plans on doing any other Pro Tour events this year? You just gonna like totally go buy right in, sell everything, and buy a van and live the touring disc golf life? What's in the future for Gabby Lee?
It's, you know, it's tempting. You know, I'm very fortunate to be with someone who's as into it as I am. And I think it's super rare to find something that you're so drawn to. So, you know, I'm battling right now with that kind of like, you know, I don't want to let this pass by. I don't want to not pursue it just because of, you know, comforts that I have. I have a great job. I have, you know, I have everything I need. But yeah, so long story short, I'm signed up for Beaver State Fling,
Cool.
It's kind of the only, that's kind of the only big like pro tour event I'm signed up for at the moment. I have those BC events. I'm actually headed down to California next weekend to play the Daniel Bow Memorial. It's an A tier there. So as much as possible, like playing local events and maybe down in Washington, Oregon. But as of right now, no plans to leave everything behind and go. But
it's percolating in the brain a little bit, isn't it? It's not not an option.
It's exactly. It's just, I'm not much of a risk taker, so just trying to do it the
right way. Absolutely. She's locking up a little bit.
Not the smart way, because I don't weapons. How am I now?
Yep, you're good. You're back, Ed.
We go. We're back.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're saying
I'm thinking about it.
what is the right way? What is the smart way? It's tough.
It's tough. Like, the perfect world would be to be able to fund ourselves, whether that be through some remote work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very grateful to be a part of Team MVP this year.
We'll get
So
to that.
who knows how that will evolve.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think for me, the smart way is just making sure that we can continue to support ourselves while we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Do you think you'll come out to Ontario to play like the Diameter Open? That's a pretty big one with Q Series. Get a tour card.
As nationals.
That is a problem, isn't it?
It's a problem. I know, because
the debate, the great
I know.
debate. Which one do you do? It's tough.
I know, because there's Cascade Challenge. That's another Q Series event. I think it's end of May. That I hope I can get to.
Where's that?
Yeah, that's another Shelton Springs, which is in Washington.
Okay, that's not too far.
Seattle-ish, not too far.
No.
So when the Q Series came out and the opportunity to kind of like compete for a tour card came out, it was like, oh, like that's another
starts
thing, right?
Percolating a little more.
Right? It starts turning the gears a bit, because before the schedule came out for the new year, Diameter Open was one that was like, I gotta go this year because I heard about it last year. Looked like a great event. And when I saw that they're the same weekend of Nationals, I was like, well, Nationals is no brainer. Too bad not to be able to go. Then I found out it was a Q Series event, and I'm just like, oh man. So we'll see. Like, I know the event's full, and I would hate to miss Nationals again, but that's a tough one, because it would be cool to come out to Ontario too.
We would love to have you.
Aw.
Absolutely, we'll show you around.
Heck yeah, love it.
So you mentioned, of course, you're on Team MVP.
Ooh, nice hat.
Thank you. Of course, wearing it just for our guest here. How did that sponsorship come about? Had you been a gyronaut before joining the team? Is this like a total bag swap, and now you're learning all these great new molds? What discs are you liking? Tell us about MVP.
Yeah, so I shot my shot. There's a few other companies that I was like reaching out to. By the end of last year, 2023, I hadn't heard back from MVP. So, I shot them a more message and was like, hey, I've like applied for the team. I'm already throwing quite a few of their discs. Like I'd say like half my bag at the time was MVP.
Cool.
So yeah, I was able to connect with like a few local players as well. Chance Stad, he's on the team here in BC. And through some conversations and just poking the bear again, it worked out in my favor, and I couldn't be happier, because like I said, I was already throwing their plastic, love their stuff. So I'd say about a half bag change. Putters, mids, approaches are kind of the main things that I'm changing out and testing out. But I already had like the uplink, the crave, the insanity, the wave. Like it was so easy, and it's just I would have already thrown more of their discs if at the time it was, I had the bank to just be like, I'm going to buy all their discs and try it out. But, I had other discs and was slowly changing through a bag. So, yeah, it was kind of the kick I needed to just go full gyro, and couldn't be happier.
What's a new mold that you hadn't been bagging prior to being sponsored that you're like, oh, I should have been bagging this one a while ago? What's your favorite new find?
See. Good question. I think there's a couple, like putters. I'm really happy with the Atom. I'm putting with the Atom right now.
The Atom, okay, nice.
Yeah. So I tried out a few, and like I had like a bit of an issue because I was trying out maybe too many putters. So it actually took me like a few months to decide. But yeah, because I started with the anode. Like I played a tournament with the anode. I was like, something's not quite right. Played a tournament with the proxies. Something's not quite right. And I was putting with Atoms last couple months. Took them to USWDGC. Happy with them. But a couple other discs. Throwing the servo as like a straight to fade. I have the Zenith, which is like, for me, it's a overstable disc. Yeah. But especially at Sprinkle, I found it great for like a forehand kind of scramble. Very dependable and great in a headwind too. Not on 17. Not quite enough fade for 17.
Oh, really?
But
so what were you throwing?
Not.
What were you throwing on 17? What got you that cut that you needed?
I think first day I threw the Neutron Wave, which in that plastic is fairly, like, it'll finish.
Got a cut.
But it was a calm day. Second day I did throw the Zenith because there was a bit of a headwind and it gave me that same cut. Third day threw the Zenith into the tree, so couldn't see how that finished.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that one.
No.
But fourth day, I did the Zenith again, and I think with maybe a bit more hyzer, could have come back, but it just kind of just sailed straight and up into the sky and did like a tiny fade to the left. But maybe with another go, I could get it to work. But I don't get huge wind here in Victoria, so it was and I don't throw very many stable discs either. So that's something that I'm looking forward to testing out a bit more, is just, throwing some beef in the bag that I know for sure will behave the way I want it to behave in a headwind.
Does UVic have like a wind tunnel that you can just get in and start practicing wind shots and throw some dimensions and some time lapses? Come on.
Yeah, why not, right? No,
make that happen.
Yeah, my husband has a time lapse and it's beefy for me.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, once he works through it and it gets a little flippy for him, if that happens, I'll grab it off of him. But
good wind disc.
Yeah.
Good wind disc.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about MVP and Axiom and Streamline is there's so many options. And with a disc like the Insanity, I bought one at a tournament one morning and I put it straight in the bag and I played with it the full tournament. Like, I feel like there's so many things, like as soon as you feel it feels good in the hand, it's gonna work out. At least that's been my experience with the discs that I've thrown so far. So yeah, I just feel very fortunate to like be able to test out everything I want to with MVP.
Very cool. Very cool. I bag a lot of MVP mostly in the mids.
Same.
I don't have the arm for their drivers. If it's a windy day, I'll bag a time lapse because it's just gonna fight the wind with my noodle arm. But I absolutely love their mids, especially the uplink and the pyro. Just so good.
That's next on my list, is to try the pyro. But yeah, uplink for sure. I bag a reactor right now. Haven't quite gotten used to the hex. Still a little stable. I really want to get the detour because I think that's going to be the perfect straight flying mid for me. But a little hard to get. But yeah, I know there's a disc out there for me in the mid. So
they make enough of them.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they make the full range.
Totally.
As soon as you mentioned uplink and crave, I was like, yes, this girl knows what's up. I don't have the hat like Sean, but my bag it proves that I'm a gyro nut for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You don't need a hat for it. Don't worry. Yeah, uplink was another one of those discs my friend Sophia and her partner Brett gave me. They're like, oh, you should try this disc, and it was like it never left my bag after that point. Yeah, Oh, I've
Perfect
got a
Kaiser flip
forehand ace. Oh, I've got a forehand ace.
What? Amazing.
I know.
Nice.
So cool. It's just such a cool disc. I love it. And then yes, to the crave too. Like I have two neutron craves in my bag right now. One that's like pretty beat in, good like straight flip, a little bit of turn finish, and I have one that's more stable right now. But yeah, just the relay too. I really love their fairway drivers. It's their money for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Crave I fell in love with this winter doing some indoor throwing stuff, and it's just as soon as I threw it, I'm like, this is going right in the bag and never leaving.
It just feels so good in the hand too, and with the different plastics that they have, I feel like you can bag one of the same discs in like the 4 different plastics, and you got a full bag. Just it's been super cool to play with.
Yeah. Well, Gabby, it has been amazing having you on the show. Before we let you go, any final comments or shout out to sponsors that you got? If you have anything else you want to add, the floor is open for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I've got to shout out my sponsor, MVP Disc Sports. It's I'm just still honored. It hasn't quite sunk in yet that I'm there. I have to shout out my husband, Sylvain. He came with me to Sprinkle Valley and he caddied for me all 4 days. He went through the ups and the downs with me. He kept encouraging me. He dissuaded me from jump putting too far after the putt.
We know the putt.
With the putt.
The
And,
putt, yes.
But yeah, like he's just been number one supporter, and yeah, just someone that I'm continue to be excited to explore disc golf with, which is I just feel like I can't go wrong if I'm chilling with him. So very grateful for that. But of course, all the women I get to play with as well. Like there's too many to name. If it weren't for the community, I wouldn't be playing disc golf. So I don't know. And you both as well, sending like awesome messages and just your support along the way. So yeah, just grateful for the support. It's just been cool. I don't do it for that, but I feel the love and it's appreciated.
Well, we'll be cheering for you loud out here in Ontario. That's for sure.
Oh, thank you. I hope I can come out there soon. I know you got some great courses to play.
We would absolutely love to have you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much, Gabby, for joining us on the podcast. Good luck in the rest of your 2024 season. We'll be keeping up with you for sure. And thanks again for joining the pod.
Awesome. Thank you. Talk to you both soon.
Bye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joining us now on Missed Mando is St. Catherine, Ontario's Audrey Lopez. She first joined the PDGA in 2019, and in 2022 she went pro and now mostly plays in the FP50 and FP55 divisions. In her disc golf career, she's played 51 events, winning 11 of them. She recently returned from her second USWDGC, where she placed 9th in FP55. Welcome to Missed Mando, Audrey Lopez. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Oh, thanks for having me on. Great honor, I think.
I don't know about that, but we're glad to have you. So, did you start playing disc golf in 2019, or had you been playing a little bit before you joined the PDGA?
I only played a little bit, so not very much. And I just started pretty well in that year.
And you pretty much jumped right into tournaments, it looks like then.
I did in 2020. Yeah.
How do you...
During COVID.
COVID player right here, wife's COVID player. So, I mean, the COVID boom was real. How do you find the age protected divisions in playing in Ontario?
I would love to see more. It's coming though. There definitely isn't a lot in the FP divisions. There are more available in the FA. So I'm actually playing more FA 50 divisions in Ontario. I tend to play more FP 50 in the States. So just because there's more people, I tend to be the only one in Ontario. Not many people are willing to jump to pro. And then often what happens in pro, they give us the long. And at 50, that's not something that works for us. So, so that's why people aren't wanting to jump. So I find. Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that they put FP50 on the longs. Like it's that's like a bit
I'm
much,
not
maybe.
sure. I think it might be just not knowing what to do with an FP50. So what are their abilities? How much can they handle? How much do they need to challenge? I think that's just part of the growing process, which I think they'll figure out eventually. I find they do a good job. Like I said, just across the border in Rochester, Buffalo, they have figured that out. So,
So obviously living so close to the border, you can go over and play those Western New York tournaments pretty easily. How do you find balancing kind of choosing tournaments in Canada versus in the States? Is it just kind of like what's easiest to get to or what's the best here? And do you find any differences between tournaments in the US as opposed to Canada, other than of course what you mentioned with the divisions?
I find I don't know if it's just that there are more women's groups I find in the States. So I find if I can go to one in the States and it's close, I will go. I just find that like the Rochester women's group is amazing. The Buffalo women's group is amazing. Just trying to include everyone in all different levels. So I do enjoy going over, and it just depends. This year, I'm really focusing on women's events and age-protected events. So I've kind of changed my focus, and then also looking at courses that fit me. So if I know a course like Christie, I find hard. If I play pro, I would have to throw from the long at least one of the rounds. So it's something to consider at my age, and I'm looking at that. So.
I noticed you're signed up for the Lewiston Ladies Championships, and that's like 50% Canadians jumping the border to play it. One of the things I've sort of, at least anecdotally, sort of noticed is the sort of the Western New York scene doesn't seem to have a lot of women actually playing the tournaments. Like they'll offer like FA2, and there'll be a couple Western New Yorkers playing that in FA1, and then maybe in FA1, maybe in FA40. It seems like I love that you're saying that the Buffalo and the Rochester women's groups are really good. It doesn't seem to be translating into women, at least a volume of women actually competing in the events, certainly compared to the Ontario side, at least. Do you think is there a reason for that, or?
I think you have to wait because they sign up late.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They'll look like there's hardly any, and then all of a sudden they'll gain more. I mean, if you look at the chicks in the sticks, all of a sudden we're already getting numbers, and I find they sign up later. So you'll see the volume of ladies come out. Just it's a later sign up. It's not like here in Ontario where it's like the men's division. They're signing up within 2 minutes and it's full.
Yeah.
I find it doesn't happen, and that happens in the ladies here in Ontario. It doesn't happen quickly. I always sign up because I think it's exciting.
Sure.
But not everyone signs up. It depends on their schedule. I think women have more on their plate, to coordinate. And so they kind of sign up later.
So you just got back from Austin, USWDGC. Was I correct? This is your second USWDGC?
Yes.
How did you like it? Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Very different from the first one, but very good.
How so? How was it different?
The first one, it was in North Carolina, and it was on the same property. So all three courses were on the same property. So after my round, I would book it over to see the pros and follow them around and talk with them. There's a whole different flair and feeling because we're all together on the same course. And after people finished, then even the pros came over to like cheer on the people who were finishing their round in the FP50 divisions or in the junior divisions. And here in Austin, we'd have to drive 30 minutes to go to the pro event, and from our venue. So there was a little bit more of that. It was hard to do. So I found the camaraderie between the players was stronger this time. So that I got to know the people in my division. I got to know the people who were playing before me, after me. There was more of that. So that was really cool. I still got to see the pros. The Fly Mart on the Saturday was amazing. And I did book it. We went right after our round on the Saturday and the Sunday. And it was great to be on site at Sprinkle Valley. So.
So which course did you end up playing? I think there was like 6 different courses that were used for the entirety of the event. Which one were you on? And what did you think of the course that you played?
We were on Wilco, and there was a little bit of a thing that happened where we thought we were on Wilco for the whole 4 rounds. But at first we weren't. We were supposed to be on 2 different courses, have no idea what they were. But then they put us on Wilco for 4. I thought, okay, that's cool. It's pretty well flat. It's very wooded. Reminded me of Toronto Island. Anyway, just like you had these tight fairways, you had to make your lines. If you didn't make your lines, you're off in the junk, and the schnarb, as we call it in Toronto Island. But it wasn't. It was similar there too. And at first I thought, it's a pretty straightforward course. But as you spent more time, which you think Toronto Island is too, the more you spend time there, you know that you have to be very accurate, and you did there too. But the 2 days before, they said, well, if we get rain, you have to play at this other course at Benbrook. And we're like, what? So we went and played Benbrook just in case. It was supposed to rain on Thursday, but it had to have 2 inches of rain. It's just like a whole big thing. Big discussion with all the FP ladies who were playing at Wilco only and who possibly had to play at Benbrook. So there was a little bit of a kerfuffle with that, but it worked out. It didn't rain enough. So we stayed at Wilco for all 4 rounds, which was pretty good. Juliana Korver and Des Redding were our 2 best, that well-known ladies that were playing at Wilco. They posted some amazing scores. So yeah, it was neat to see what they got.
Juliana looks like she absolutely shredded that course.
She did. I played with her at Big Island Open in January, and it was such a blast to play with her. She's such a down-to-earth person. I really enjoyed playing with her there, so got to know her a little bit.
So did you feel that the course that you were Wilco, was it a good course for the FP division?
I have both where I think it was a good course. Like I said, it kind of reminded me of Toronto Island, which is a challenging course. Then parts I was like, I just felt like when we went to Benbrook, I really liked Benbrook, and I thought that would have been a great course for us. So it was hard to say. They did make the decision, and we did the best of what we could. And every day was a little different just because of weather. So
yeah, the weather would look like it was quite variable. How was that wind?
Wind was the worst on the last day, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. And so you just had to deal with it. Just we're flying all over the place on that last day. So the scores were a little bit different, except for Juliana. So she had a great day.
And how did you like Sprinkle Valley? So did you get a chance to play it at all before you came home, or do you just spectating?
Not at all. Yeah, just spectating. So I just, we were only allowed to see certain holes. So I saw mainly 16, 17, and 18. You could see down 11 when you were walking by. I didn't go over to 1, but I just kind of stuck around in that area because most of them were finishing up their rounds by then. Looked like a really interesting course. It was so fun to watch them trying to get that island shot on 17. And just the people that were watching, it was so fun. I'm standing next to James Conrad and Chandler Fry, and they got their spectator badges on, and it's just amazing to be standing there watching. Yeah, I know. I'm like, why don't they have VIP badges?
Come on.
They got just spectator badges.
Splurge a little. Come on.
Yeah. And they were there both Saturday and Sunday watching when I went there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what did you think of Austin as a whole, of a disc golf destination, from everything I've seen and heard from the people that were down there. Just the city as a place to go to for disc golf
Oh my
specifically
goodness.
seems like it is a must if you're a disc golfer, and especially if you like to travel in disc golf.
Exactly. I mean, you open up the map on UDisc and you're like, what? Like, there's just so many courses, right? So, just the way my schedule worked out, most of my housemates had morning rounds and I had an afternoon round. So, I didn't have a vehicle. So, I was just always making sure I had a ride to and from. So, I didn't get a lot of touring, but one of the ladies in our house did a lot of touring and had a great time doing that too. So, she's Bogey Girl on Instagram. So if you wanted to see where she was, she posted where she went. And so I kind of lived through her experiences. But for course-wise, there were just so many. But like I said, I tried Benbrook. We walked through, I forgot the other name of the one. We walked it, and but they were beautiful courses.
So you spend part of your year in Hawaii. And I've seen you've played some tournaments out there. You mentioned you played with Juliana Korver out there recently. What's disc golf Hawaii like? It seems a little smaller, perhaps.
It's smaller, but it's growing. So a lot of the guys on the island, they play really well. They know their course. They know the wind. There's lots of wind in Hawaii. They know the elevation. They're very talented. They can just put their disc through these tight gaps too. So I think, the mainland is a big for them. If someone comes, but they do well against them as well. One of our guys, Casey Schwend, is really good. And Carrie is also very good in the female division. So they do well against mainland people that come. Like I said, it's growing. They all now have PDGA numbers, which is cool. They're all looking to, grow the sport. So, and they're just, making the course look really well. I play the one in town called KCC. A lot of them play upcountry, and they enjoy that too. So there's a couple courses up there. So, and they open them up for tournaments. Hope to go down to state championships in June, Hawaii State Championships. So yeah, that'll be a good venue as well. So,
what are the courses like? Are they more park courses? Are they a little more? I don't know. It's on the side of a Hawaii volcano. Like I can't. I'm trying to picture.
One is on there's a couple on the side of the Hawaii volcano. So it's a little cooler up there. 4,000 elevation.
Wow.
Understable disc. They fly over.
Totally different.
So you need something understable, even lightweight. You can manage too. The one in town where I play, it's only about 1,000 elevation, and it looks park-like the first 5 holes, and then it is not. It is hilly, and it got trees, and it's very tight holes as well, and really cool course in town, just at the community park. And but up country, they're very wooded, very distinct throws that you need to throw up there. So, but there's canopies that you can lose your disc in. So, little different flair.
Very cool. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned potentially playing if you can get down for the state championships. Are there any other tournaments that you're really looking forward to this year? What's like the top of Audrey's bucket list of tournaments that you're just like getting antsy to go to?
Well, definitely state championships because it's in Maui, which is the island that I live on. But coming up, I have several women's events that I'm looking forward to. The Chicks in the Sticks, 716 Chicks in the Sticks. So that's the Buffalo ladies, New York ladies, and that's an amazing event. It's at Hot Landing, and that's on April 21st. So really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to Top Link Open, which is June 1st and 2nd. I really like Sandy Hollow. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Niagara Falls course. And so those are my 2 main ones. I was thinking of doing some other ones, but I have to take a little bit of a step back down to AM. I just have feeling some pressure. So I'm going to work through that and see how that goes. I just saw Toronto Island Open, and I'd really love to go do that one. That's in May. So I haven't signed up yet. They haven't opened them up yet, but that looks to be a favorite. And I saw also Sandy Sandy Hollow Open is in August again, so that's on my bucket list too.
Amazing. Those are all great events. I've heard nothing but good things about the 716 Chicks and the Sticks, and I really love the Hawks Landing course. It's super fun. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight on Miss Mando. Want to give the floor to you for any shout outs or any sponsor shout outs before we wrap this up.
All right. I just wanted to say thanks to Spartan Disc. They're in Tonawanda, and they're an online store as well as a brick and mortar store. Might be moving or adding another one yet to come. They've been great. I'm on the Phalanx team, and that's like the second tier team. And I do have a code, Lopez10. I do want to shout out a couple of people because they shouted out me. At least one of them did. Kona Montgomery shouted out me. Yes, and I met her at the Fly Mart, and she's been amazing to chat with. And I just have enjoyed all the conversations with her. That was one of the highlights. And the other shout out is to PDGA number 83. Her name's Tita Ugaldi, and I pretty well saw her every day. Now, I met her in the fall at the other USWDGC. I went in a horse pen to go get her disc. And so I said, hey, remember me? I got your disc, yeah. So I saw her this time every day to the end where I said, it's pizza hug time, because I need to have a pizza hug every day. And what just, to see women who, with a PDGA number of 83.
2 digits.
Just amazing. Yes. And I had one other person, Christine Eustace. She is in my division, FP55, and just an amazing lady who talked me through some of the things I was going through. I could have done it without her, but meeting her made it really super special. So just wanted to add that in there.
And that's what is so amazing about USWDGC. 350 women from 8 countries and 21 divisions. That's stories like that are why that event is just so important.
Yeah. Oh, and I have to add one more thing. Sherry Herzog got this group of ladies together in this house, and we had an amazing group of ladies. Karen May, like I said, she's Bogey Girl. She's FA3 division. Gabby, your wife, is in the FA50 position in group. Trinity Madison, she's in the FP40, so she played Sprinkle Valley.
Cool.
Just having those ladies together, amazing. And what a great group of women who we talked, we shared. It was amazing. So yes, that's what USWDGC is about.
Amazing. Absolutely love it. And on that super awesome note, thank you again for joining us here on the podcast. We really appreciated having you on and learning a lot more about you and USWDGC, and especially Hawaii Disc Golf. I totally got to get out there now. We will hopefully see you out there soon on the course. And we're looking forward to following your 2024 season. And good luck at Hawaiian State Championships.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Audrey Lopez. And in our show notes, we'll have her promo code from Spartan Discs. And you can help support her there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Miss Mando. So excited and happy to have those ladies on for a podcast and or for an interview, I should say, on the podcast. And just what a weekend for the Canadian ladies down in Texas, eh, Sean?
Absolutely. It sounds like it was an absolute blast to be down there, just to play the courses, to be part of the environment of USWDGC, to be surrounded by so many other amazing legends of the sport. I particularly love the 3 players with two-digit PDJ numbers who've been members since the mid-1970s. Absolutely love to see it. So cool. Just the amount of history that they can convey to newer players who who attend the event. It's absolutely wonderful. The Fly Mart sounds amazing. The Players Party sounded amazing. And the courses all sounded great. And I'm really glad to have gotten their perspectives tonight here on Miss Mando.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you once again to all 5 of those amazing ladies that we have on for an interview. And that's going to do it for this episode of Miss Mando. We will be back once again with a regular episode coming up for you, talking Texas states and doing a little bit of a Miss Mando fantasy draft as well. We'll have our third co-host, Galen, back with us for that segment. But until then, that's going to do it for us here on Miss Mando. For Sean Galbraith, I am Robbie Holden, and we'll see you next time.